The Museum of the Prime Minister is filling an extraordinary gap in the provision of museums and knowledge in the UK. I mean, look, the Prime Minister is not just any office, it is the world's longest lasting leader's office in the democratic world, and it was the first office of Prime Minister. It gave itself the name and the office to 90 different countries. You would imagine, if you come from outer space, that London would be full of museums of the Prime Minister. The country, London, celebrating this amazing thing. There is nothing. So that's why we are creating it. And you know, we are making this into Britain's first truly 21st century museum. Democracy matters. It's under attack from all quarters, including technology. And if you don't value something, then it will decline. And I think there should be an enormous sense of pride and understanding and celebration, I mean critical celebration, of the Prime Minister. It is almost an impossible office. I think people need to understand what public service at the very highest level means and the cost to the individuals and their families. So an aim of the museum is to instill that sense that democracy matters, that people die to establish democracy and preserve it. And unless we value it and treasure it, unless we know about it, we'll never value it and treasure it. And this museum will be an extraordinary way of helping young people, people of all ages, both in presence but also online on the incredible website, understand what political leadership at the very highest level means and is about, and the sacrifices that those people who have done these jobs have endured for the sake of public service. And I think it will play a significant part in nurturing respect for and understanding of democracy in this country that has given democracy to so much of the world. And if we cannot respect and treasure it here, then who can? For over 300 years, Downing Street has been at the very heart of world history. There'll be opportunities to walk around recreations of Downing Street, physically and online. It will give people a real beating heart experience of what life was like and the incredible challenges that the people inside that building, economic crises, health crises, military crises, terrorism, crises, any kind of crisis, and often happening more than one at the same time, that people in that building have had to endure. Throughout the last 300 years, most of the world's most important decisions have been either taken in that building with the Prime Minister involved or have been shaped and affected by the Prime Minister. These are the rooms that have made global history. One of the great things this museum will do is to lift the lid on the lives of the Prime Minister. It will show people that they're just ordinary people. And the key thing that I've learned from writing about the Prime Minister for almost 50 years is they are more like you and me and everybody else than we could possibly imagine. I don't know why, but I've always been fascinated by political history and the lives of the Prime Minister. My first book was about Churchill after the war. It was a piece of research that I'd done as a student, and when I wrote that first book, there was no going back. In Downing Street, the main staircase has the pictures of the Prime Minister. And it always used to strike me that the Prime Ministers would walk up and down that main staircase, as would all the staff who lived and work in the building, but not know anything about the Prime Minister. So some 10 years ago, I started holding seminars for the staff so that they could learn more about the people who have trod the same floorboards, worked in the same rooms, opened the same doors, and frankly, confronted similar crises to the ones that they're confronting, in the belief that history is evolutionary, and you get that if you know and understand more about the people who've been in the building before. And I think the idea for the Museum of the Prime Minister came out of those sessions. I remember in particular inviting the last living secretary, as they were called, of Winston Churchill. And I've never heard a more mesmerising talk in my life. The pillared room, which is one of the drawing rooms in Downing Street, was full to bursting, and all the way back into the adjacent rooms, people were there. You could hear a pin drop, and she was just talking about things that she'd never talked about before, living history. And I thought, well, how can we give everybody in this country, not just people who live and work in Downing Street, but everybody, this same kind of window, this same kind of eye on this incredibly deeply rich and fascinating world of the life, not just of Winston Churchill, but all the other great and historic prime ministers who we've had in British history. Amazing women and men. The beginning of wisdom is to know where we've come from, I think, as individuals. If we know who we are and we understand ourselves and maybe our families and our family history, we know where we are in life, we are wiser and we enjoy life more than if we just see ourselves as aliens suddenly landing in this space. And the same with prime ministers and people in that building. The more they see and understand that, in a way, there's nothing new under the sun, that the issues and problems that land in Downing Street, technologically they might be different, but in terms of substance, they're pretty much the same. And not panicking into taking a decision, thinking it through, reflecting on how people in the past have dealt with similar scenarios, I think makes for better decision making. There will be massive interest, both in the physical presence, but also online, enormous, rich interest from people globally. I think we are a democracy. We are not a totalitarian country, and democracy only flourishes with respect and understanding and appreciation. So I think students definitely will love this. I mean, they'll love the stories, the episode, the humanity of it, and they'll love the technology that we're deploying to portray and bring the past to life in ways that you never could in the past. I mean, look, it's all very well seeing a handbag of Lady Thatcher or a bag from Gladstone, but to see that three-dimensionally, to see that in holograms, to see that in real life, to see the occasions when these bags and these objects were actually used, brings it to life. I think more generally, everybody, we all live in a democracy. The fascination in politics, whether on podcasts like Newsagent or The Rest is Politics, and books about political scandals and political history, political biography, the films, so many about prime ministers and the life of Downing Street, and wars and crises and battles and riots, all indicate the rich curiosity that we all have, which at the moment is unnourished, because incredibly, there is nowhere in London or in any other city that you can go to, and there's no website where you can get this rich experience. We have been simply blown away. It's been incredible, the support we've had from everyone from schools, colleges, universities, all the way to prime ministers themselves. We had no idea when we first started talking about this idea whether people would just say, oh, this is yet another museum. Doesn't Britain have enough? Why do we need yet another one? I think everybody who has a love of history, a love of democracy, or a love of this country has an intuitive, instinctive understanding that this is a museum whose time has come. What are they going to feel when they come out onto the street? And we're very clear. We want them to feel inspired, that they've had an incredibly enriching, surprising, startling experience. We're wanting them to feel proud that Britain is a democracy. Many times in those 300 years, democracy was under severe challenge, internally and externally, as are democracies all around the world which are being challenged, and yet democracy has survived, and a sense that they have walked, if not exactly on the same floorboards as these prime ministers from 300 years ago, then in the model, the reconstruction, the look-alike rooms and corridors, and the cabinet room and the prime minister's room and the the garden area where so many decisions were taken, that they have been there and they have been witnesses to the most important decisions of the last 300 years that have not only shaped British history, but global history. This is the most significant building and the most significant office in world history.